This is Taiwan Insider, a weekly news roundup brought to you by Radio Taiwan International.
Every week we give you an inside look at the biggest and most interesting stories coming out of Taiwan. I'm Natalie So.
And I'm Andrew Ryan, and here's your Week in a Minute.
The DPP is pushing back the presidential primary to May, as President Tsai and former Premier William Lai both hope to become the party's pick for president in next year's election. Taiwan has requested the purchase of 66 F-16V fighters from the U.S. and hopes to keep the price tag below $10 billion. Washington is expected to respond to the request in July. Taiwan and the U.S. are commemorating the 40th anniversary of the Taiwan Relations Act. Former U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Paul Ryan is expected to lead a delegation to Taiwan to attend a series of events hosted by the American Institute in Taiwan. A globe-themed art piece at the London School of Economics has become the latest site of cross-strait contention. After Chinese students protested, the school repainted Taiwan the same color as China. The annual Dajia Mazu procession is underway. This grueling 9-day march brings the sea goddess Mazu from the central city of Taichung into southern Taiwan and back again, attracting huge crowds of devotees. And that's your Week in a Minute.
Every week at the top of the show, we each come up with a word of the week. Now, tell me what you think my word is.
All right.
Can you guess?
Thank you for hosting with me. Threshold. Threats.
Yes.
Multiple threats.
Multiple threats. So President Ing-wen, I believe, is facing multiple threats. First of all, on March 31st, Beijing sent 2 jet planes, warplanes, across the median line of the Taiwan Strait. That is a major threat.
Yes.
A very provocative move that hasn't happened in 20 years.
Wow.
So that's coming from China. She also has a threat within her own party, William Lai, and they're moving back the presidential primary. I think she's taking this very seriously, very careful, trying to see if she can become the next presidential nominee. So,
for the Democratic Progressive Party, yes.
So 2 major threats for President Ing-wen. We're also threatening China. If they do that again, we're going to push back
with
and
the
expel
jets.
them. Yes.
Okay.
So lots of threats going around.
I'm feeling very threatened. All right, you ready for my word?
Yes.
Okay. Let's have a look. Oh, the F word. No.
Faith? Faith?
Yes.
Faith? Tell us about this. That's a little more positive.
Yeah, a little more positive. I try. The reason why I chose this is because the Mazu procession is underway. And of course, Mazu, the goddess of mercy, is one of the most revered deities in Taiwan. So the question is aside from your religion, who else do you have faith in? So a lot of the people in Taiwan, the electorate, are wondering if they can have faith in the nation's military, faith in their elected officials to protect Taiwan. So if there's threats, what do you need?
That's true. You need faith.
You need faith.
Great.
So those are our 2 words of the week.
So coming up on today's show, we will be talking about the median line of the Taiwan Strait and the history of that. Also, I'll be talking with a top military expert about the recent Chinese incursion across the median line of the Taiwan Strait. And the American Institute in Taiwan also weighs in. Also,
we're going to tell you about CAT scans for cats and dogs. And also, do you know what this is? Have a look at this photo. This is a place in Taiwan. Just a hint, this building celebrated its 100th birthday last weekend in Taipei, and we'll have the answer for you at the end of our show in our parting shots.
And now we turn to our top story. Now, cross-strait tensions are heating up as China sent 2 J-11s across the median line of the Taiwan Strait. And that was on March 31st. Taiwan gave them multiple warnings to return. They did not heed. Then Taiwan F-16s intercepted the planes, and there was a 12-minute standoff before the Chinese warplanes left.
President Tsai Ing-wen said Taiwan would forcibly expel any Chinese planes that go past the median line. A Chinese state-run media group, the Global Times, warns that if the U.S. and Taiwan continue provocative acts, the PLA Air Force will patrol the entire Taiwan Strait.
Now, what is the history of the median line of the Taiwan Strait and its role in cross-strait relations? That's the topic of today's Taiwan Explained. Now on today's Taiwan Explained, I'm going to tell you about the history behind the median line of the Taiwan Strait and its role in relations between Taiwan and China.
All right, Natalie, I've got a minute on the clock, 60 seconds. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so the median line of the Taiwan Strait runs right down the center of the Taiwan Strait, which separates Taiwan and China. It was demarcated in 1955 by U.S. General Benjamin Davis, who was the commander of the 13th U.S. Air Force based in Taipei. It was also called the Davis Line. Now, it is not supported by international law, but Taiwan and China have tacitly accepted it as the boundary between innocent flights and hostile action. Now, the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea defines territorial airspace as airspace above one's lands and territorial waters, which includes waters within 12 nautical miles of one's coastline. So that's the international definition. Now, when have Chinese planes crossed the median line? In 1999, after President Lee Teng-hui mentioned special state-to-state relations, also on March 31st, and periodically by accident.
Ding!
Okay, I think I made it, right?
Yes, you did. Perfect. And that's today's Taiwan Explained. This week I spoke with the spokesperson of the American Institute in Taiwan, Amanda Mansour, about what the U.S. thought about the Chinese jets crossing the median line. This is what she had to say.
It was definitely a collection of behaviors that we viewed as being coercive, as being provocative, and threatening to the status quo. And so we, frequently call on everybody involved to abstain from these types of behaviors. And generally speaking, Taiwan has been a really strong partner in helping to maintain the peace and stability of the Taiwan Strait.
And could the United States do something more than speaking out against this sort of act?
I think it depends on the situation. So, for example, when various countries in Latin America were pressured to sever ties with Taiwan, the United States took some more assertive, or offered a more assertive response. We withdrew our ambassadors from those countries. We look for ways to send as strong a message as possible that we think that this kind of behavior really undermines regional stability and is really unproductive to what we think is in everyone's best interest, which is, of course, peace and stability. But the Taiwan Relations Act and the 3 joint communiques also say that the solution to cross-strait problems needs to come as a result of peaceful negotiations between Taipei and Beijing, so between the two parties.
Next week, we'll have more of my interview with the AIT spokesperson. Specifically, we'll be talking about the 40th anniversary of the Taiwan Relations Act, which forms the cornerstone of U.S.-Taiwan ties. You can also see the full interview on Facebook and YouTube.
But today, I spoke with a top military expert about the recent Chinese incursion. Should Taiwan be worried about Chinese planes crossing the median line? This is what Danjiang University Professor Alexander Huang had to say. So this is a big move that China just made. Tell us what you think. Why did China make this move?
I think it can be separate into 2 interpretations. One is that China wants to express their anger or anxious feeling about the current improvement of U.S.-Taiwan relationship. They send a message to the United States and says, since you said you can do freedom of navigation in the South China Sea that China claims, so we definitely can fly our military assets in the public domain of the Taiwan Strait. So that's one message. Another message, of course, is obvious to warn Taiwan that not to either go for independence or get too closer to the United States. So I think it's a mixed message, but the move, the maneuver itself, it should be viewed very, very seriously.
So do you think that President Tsai took the right strategy? I mean, if it happens again, do you think they should expel the planes, or they should deal with it in another way?
Well, I think it's better that political leaders only deliver political messages and try to refrain from giving detailed instructions for military operations or actions, because we all know that China will test the line again at some point. As long as the United States announced a new arms sales item to Taiwan, or any politician says something that Beijing dislikes, then they would have the excuse to do it again. So they are coming. So for me, as a experienced observer and a policy advisor, I would say that we need to have a series of meetings at different levels to at least simulate the future possible scenarios. So everybody can get prepared, because if we only talk about it occasionally, then maybe in the next crisis we would not have any idea that to make a decision within 1 or 2 minutes.
So what if they were to, cause loss of life to Taiwan? What do you think would happen?
Well, that will be a tragedy, I think, because if the cross-strait tension involves in loss of lives, then it will definitely become a crisis, especially during the time when we have a huge political movement in Taiwan.
Right?
The election is coming up. So it could be used by either side to make their own preferred interpretation, and it may not work for China's interests. So something that we don't talk a lot is whether this action in late March was out of a direct central command to give a warning shot to the United States and Taiwan, or it was out of a kind of conflicting views that the uniformed service on the other side wanted to have a strong position, and the party leadership thought, if you guys are careful, be more careful, then we can, let you do it. But given them specific instruction not to cause trouble, not to have direct engagement, not to log on Taiwan's fighter jets. This is something we don't know. We need to find out later.
That was Tamkang University professor Alexander Huang, and we'll be featuring that full interview on YouTube. Now on to our next segment, Taiwan by Number. In today's Taiwan by Number, we're going to be talking about pets in Taiwan. In just a moment, we're going to show you a video about how they are now giving CAT scans to, get this, not humans, but cats and dogs and other pets. But first, I have a question for you, Natalie.
Yes.
We're going to quiz you on your knowledge of numbers. How many cats and dogs do you think there are in Taiwan? Now, we should mention there are 23 million people in Taiwan. How many cats and dogs?
Probably not as many, right? How about we take 10%?
10%?
2.3 million.
2.3 million, okay. How many dogs, how many cats?
Okay, that's a good one. 1.3 million dogs and 1 million cats.
Have you been looking? No! I think she's cheating, but I'm not sure. All right.
I think people are more into dogs, right? But I don't know. Well, at least they carry them with them.
Yes.
So the cats are at home. We don't really know if they have them. So
that's very true.
More.
All right, we're going to first watch this video about how they're giving CAT scans to pets in Taiwan. And when we're back in just a moment, I'm going to tell you the answer to today's question. Let's have a look.
Taiwan has about 2.5 million pet cats and dogs. Alarmingly, their chances of getting cancer are as high as 54%. To ensure better treatment for sick pets, National Yangming University has introduced pet CT scans. Besides pet cats and dogs, pet CT scans can also be used for hamsters, rabbits, chickens, and ducks. Vet Charles Xu says that without this advanced technique, there could be mistakes in the course of the treatment. That's because Vets only treat symptoms they have discovered and may overlook the root cause of diseases. Pet owners will need to have the deep pockets to afford this procedure, though. A single scan costs $1,500, and the technique is not necessarily covered by pet insurance. A referral by a vet is also required before scanning can go ahead.
Those pets are so cute. I'm glad they're having CAT scans for cats and dogs.
Absolutely. 54% of these animals will get cancer.
I had no idea it was so high.
Absolutely. So let's move on now to the number that I asked you to guess. I asked you how many pet cats and dogs there are in Taiwan. You said 2.3 million. Let's have a look at the answer.
Ah, very close.
I think you were peeking at my information there, Natalie. But now I have the other question for you. How many dogs versus cats? Let's have a look at that.
Wow, so many dogs. Nearly 2 million dogs.
Yes, nearly 2 million dogs and less than 1 million cats. That's 2 to 1. And actually, I think this is maybe connected to tradition here in Taiwan. People like to have dogs to help out on the farm or in the countryside or to protect the family. Cats, I am a cat lover, but I'm not sure how much they're doing to help us out.
Right. And dogs are very loyal. I mean, man's best friend, right? So I think
absolutely.
They're very cute.
I have a couple other bonus facts. Are you ready for this? Kaohsiung has a disproportionately high number of dogs and more than any other city and county in Taiwan.
I'm not surprised. There's more space over there, more parks, sidewalks,
and cats.
And bigger houses.
Where do you think has the most cats in Taiwan?
New Taipei City?
I seriously think
isn't there like a cat village over there that I've been to actually?
Oh, that is true.
Yeah,
that is true.
I went there.
It's called
Holy,
Hodong.
Right? Or something like that.
Yeah,
Hodong.
Yeah. One final one here. If the number of cats and dogs continues to rise as it is rising now, the number will surpass the total number of human beings 15 and under by the year 2021.
Wow. So people want pets more than kids.
Yes.
Put it that way.
They're replacing.
They're a little bit easier to take care of.
Yeah, they're replacing their kids with pets.
They're cheaper.
They don't talk back either.
That's true.
All right, so that's it for today's Taiwan by Number. We're going to move on now to #Taiwan.
This week on #Taiwan, the phrase Taiwan is Taiwan.
That's right. This phrase began trending in the Taiwan Twitter sphere this past week. So people were saying it in response to tweets that were suggesting that Taiwan is part of China.
Let's have a look at one of these. This is from UN Women. It says, meet Bo Chun-liu, the first woman baseball umpire from Taiwan province of China, who won 2019 IOC #Women in Sports Awards for her work to empower women and girls through sport. So it's really unfortunate that they put province of China on there, and a lot of people were not happy about that.
Now, the tweet appears to have been taken down, but the UN Women article about Liu Bojun now says that she is from Chinese Taipei. Of course, Chinese Taipei is not an actual place. It is the designation that Taiwan uses in the Olympics and other international organizations. Now, Taiwan's foreign ministry has responded to that. It says, spectacular achievement, and we warmly congratulate her, but why ruin it by incorrectly stating Bojun is from a province of #China. She's from #Taiwan, and hey, look, that's our segment name.
Hey, all right.
And it says she's from China, Taiwan, period, JW. Now, JW is actually the foreign minister. So the tweets that he sends himself, Joseph Wu, he will put JW on the end there.
And he has some other interesting tweets as well. Let's take a look. This is from the People's Daily from China. Fairyland on Earth. Aerial view of the seashore at Hualien City, Taiwan, China. And it's actually a beautiful video of Hualien, but unfortunately he put China at the end of Taiwan.
And now let's have a look at how the foreign minister responded. He says, you're off with the fairies. Hualien is in #Taiwan. Again, not #China. Stop drooling, JW. Now, what's interesting is there's a lot of back and forth between users from Taiwan and China on Twitter, but actually Twitter is blocked in China. The only way that you can get on it is if you are an official organization like People's Daily, or if you have a VPN, but that actually might be illegal in China.
So I like how he responded, though. That was a little humor there, right?
A lot of humor there. That's great.
Okay, so that's it for this week's hashtag Taiwan. And do follow us on social media and give us any social media tips. We'd love to hear from you. Finally, we'll leave you with a parting shot. Now remember, at the beginning of the program, we showed you a picture and asked you if you knew where it was. Let's take a look at that picture again.
Wow. So what is that? That is actually the presidential office building in Taipei.
I see it. Beautiful.
Wow, it's really hard to imagine that the presidential office building has lights on it like that. It's pretty impressive, right?
Yes, and there was a big event there, so let's take a look at that parting shot.
All right. Look at that.
Wow.
So this is the presidential office building again. It celebrated its 100th anniversary this past week. You can hear the National Taiwan Symphony Orchestra. They're playing at the 2019 Presidential Office Concert, which took place on Saturday, April 6th. That's the National Taiwan Symphony Orchestra there.
It's beautiful. I love the lights. And that's Indigenous musician Sampui and also the band Fire X.
Look
a lot
at
of
that.
musicians there as well.
It's really incredible seeing the presidential office building lit up like that in all of its splendor. Usually we see it as a very traditional building, but to see it like that with all the lights on it.
More exciting.
It's like a party.
Yes.
That's right. So we hope you enjoyed today's edition of Taiwan Insider. Be sure to connect with us on social media and, of course, leave a comment below.
And check out our links and more information about the interviews and all the segments of our show are right below.
For Taiwan Insider, I'm Andrew Ryan.
I'm Natalie So. See you next week.
Bye-bye.